And today we're going to be talking about the 3 things that every man should do every single day. Now, before we dive into that, just a quick reminder to hit the subscribe button below and the bell icon to get notified about when I drop new content and conversations on how you can develop yourself into a more effective husband, father, business leader, and essentially a self-led man in the world today. All right, so where do we begin, and why is it important for us to have these types of rituals or routines? I think Jocko Willink said it best. He said, discipline equals freedom. And so when we have discipline in certain areas of our lives, when we have certain things that we are unequivocally committed to as men, that creates a sense of direction, it creates a sense of resiliency, and it creates an understanding within ourselves that we can take on certain tasks. And for most men within our society today, they're lacking this kind of chosen hardship, right? This lack of, I'm going to choose to do challenging things. I'm going to choose to have some type of structure within my life every single day. And that structure is incredibly important, because without that, freedom is kind of ethereal. The man who can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, however he wants, with whoever he wants, he doesn't actually feel a sense of freedom. He feels a sense of chaos because there's no clear structure within his life. So after having worked with men for over a decade and worked on myself for a very long time, these are the 3 things that I have found to be incredibly important for you as a man to implement every single day. So here we go. So the first thing is to push your edge. And what I mean by that is to do hard shit every single day, to do hard things mentally, emotionally, psychologically, physically, maybe sexually, right? Within your relationship, to have a conversation that you've been wanting to have, to experiment or explore in some capacity, to push yourself physically. And it doesn't have to be the same thing every single day, but the fact that you actively choose to have a tough conversation with your boss or with one of your employees, to push yourself physically when you necessarily don't want to, when you feel resistance towards calling one of your buddies forward and giving him some feedback, but you decide to go and do it anyway. It's those types of moments when you push your edge, when you go and do the hard thing, that you train yourself to know unequivocally, without a doubt, that you can face hardship, that you can rely on yourself in challenging situations, in challenging moments when obstacles arise. And this is really the type of freedom that most men are seeking. A lot of men feel confined. They feel overly domesticated. And what that means is that they feel like they can't rely on themselves because they've become soft. They've become weak, not in the sense maybe physically, although that might be the case for some men, but they feel soft and weak in the sense that they know inside of themselves that they can't deal with hardship. And so when life starts to bring hardship financially, relationally, maybe with their kids or in their family or in their career, the challenge itself that is externally presenting itself, of course, is hard. But what's really hard for that man is when he has to admit to himself, I don't trust myself to do hard shit. I don't trust myself to face hard things. And this isn't something that comes natural for every single human being. It's not something that comes natural for you as a man. You have to train yourself every single day to know that you can face hardship. And so that might mean that you commit to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or you commit to one challenging conversation per day, or you commit to saying no to things that you really don't want to do or engage with. But regardless of what it is, you commit to doing one hard thing every day. You commit to doing one challenging thing every single day to push your edge mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, relationally, sexually. And you just notice every single day as a question, as a way of being, what can I do today to push my edge? What's the one thing that is going to challenge me? And maybe that's where you start off your day, right? Which brings me into point number 2, which is do something every single day to expand yourself, to expand yourself. Purpose comes for us as men oftentimes when we are expanding ourselves, where we are allowing ourselves to learn, to grow, to push our edges out a little bit. And so that expansion can look a number of ways, right? It can be journaling, it can be meditating, it can be yoga. Again, it could be martial arts of some form. It could be reading books within a field that you're interested in, whether again that's spirituality or philosophy or mathematics or who knows, quantum mechanics, like whatever it is, that you allow yourself to move in the directions of your passion. And this is the really important part. And so maybe you start off your day by journaling and saying, what's the one hard thing I know I need to take care of today? What's the one challenging thing that I need to go and tackle? Maybe it's a workout. Maybe it's the conversation with your wife that you've been avoiding, or your girlfriend, or your kids, or your father, or whomever. And so starting your day in that way might be the thing that is going to help you expand. Or maybe it's a more committed practice to your physical body. Again, this all depends on who you are as a man, where you're at, and what challenges you're struggling with, right? Maybe you're a man who really knows unequivocally that if you were to get into better shape physically, that would force you to confront a lot about your mental architecture and framework that isn't working for you, that isn't allowing you to survive and thrive as a man. So maybe it's starting there. So again, pick something each and every single day that is going to expand you. Now, if you're enjoying this, make sure that you hit the like button below. I'd love for you to comment and let me know about what you think, what you're going to commit to in your practice, and what you're enjoying about this conversation and what you would add to it ultimately. All right, so number 3, this is the last one, is engage in a ritual or a routine. Now, I prefer the word ritual because I like the idea of us as men having rituals that we enact, because the difference between, for me, a ritual and a routine is something that can be bland and monotonous and devoid of purpose, devoid of meaning. It can get into that space. I think many of us avoid routines because it's like, oh yeah, okay, I got to make my bed every single morning. Like that's a routine. And then that can be helpful. But I think the notion of ritual has a more sort of sacred feel to it. You're doing it intentionally. You're doing it with purpose. You're doing it because it fills something in your life that is meaningful. And so there's sort of this, it has a sanctity to it, quality to it. And you can bring that essence into it. Whether you're spiritual or not is sort of irrelevant. It can be a ritual to honor yourself as a man, to honor your relationship, to honor the direction that you're going. So this might be having a morning ritual. Maybe you have like a coffee ritual that feels important to you, or a journaling ritual, or a meditation ritual. Maybe it's just moving your body in a certain way, or even eating a specific meal every single day. I remember watching a video with David Goggins where he talked about his morning routine. It was really interesting because it was somewhat similar to mine. It's different in a sense. I don't go and run the miles that he does, but he said that he would go out and he would run something like 10, 15, 20 miles, and then he would come back home and he would eat this big bowl of oatmeal. And for me, my morning routine is I get up every single morning, I stretch my body, I do some breath work, I have some greens, some athletic greens, and then I make my coffee and I make breakfast for my son. And then I either fast every single morning until about 11:30 or noon, or I'll have a superfood oatmeal. And so I'll have oatmeal with like goji berries, and cacao and maca and peanut butter and a few different things in there that is really rich and nourishing for my body. And so having these rituals, having these sort of morning rituals that you can engage in that allow you to connect to your mind, connect to your body, allowing yourself to drink water first thing in the morning, maybe journal a little bit, and not needing to adhere to a very specific one every single day, I think is important. I alternate. I have some components that are the same every morning, like having the greens, the green juice, and the coffee and the breath work and the moving of the body. All of that is the same, but then I allow myself to have some alternation, whether or not I fast in the morning or I actually have breakfast. And so developing these types of rituals for yourself in the morning in the evening, things that will allow you to expand again as a man are going to be incredibly important. And these rituals are going to connect you with a deeper sense of your progress as a man. You know, it's very challenging sometimes for us to see whether or not we are progressing. And sometimes when we bake these rituals into our daily life and we say, this is going to be a constant for me, and it's just for me as a man, it's just for me to make sure that I can maintain the energy of doing hard shit, of pushing my edge every single day, of choosing to expand myself every single day and learn and, you know, grow and to go build things in the world. Having these rituals creates the foundation for you to go forward and exert that much energy out into the world, out into your relationship, in your business, etc. So those are the three that I think that every single man should do and that every single man will benefit from by implementing. And again, you can kind of mix and match and choose what you want out of this. But comment below. I'd love to hear what you enjoyed about this video, what you already do for, you know, pushing your edge, for doing hard things every single day, for your rituals or routines. What do you do? So comment below and let me know. And if you want to learn more, then check out this video above, maybe here or here, about the 7 skills that every man must learn. So thanks very much. And until next week, Connor Beaton signing off.